You're afraid to try because you're scared to fail. But what's the real cost of failure today? Imagine you lost everything. Would you freeze to death like in the 1800s? Would bandits raid your home and scalp your family? No one's coming to murder your kids. You won't die of typhus or starvation. The worst that can happen is you have a little less money. Maybe can't buy champagne at an overpriced beach club for a while. Big deal. You'll still have food, a place to sleep, warmth, Wi-Fi, and another chance tomorrow. You sit there, paralyzed by the idea of failure, when the truth is, you're living in free spins. The game keeps going until you win. And even if you lose, nothing truly catastrophic happens. The world is safer and more convenient than ever. Politics are fake, money gets printed endlessly, but you still live in more peace than any generation before you. The real price of failure isn't losing. It's sitting there years later, haunted by the thought of what you could have become if you just tried. You go to a job you hate. You waste your potential, but your life is fine, comfortable enough to keep you sedated. You eat, sleep, laugh sometimes, but deep inside you wonder, could I have done more? If you have no shame, maybe you can live like that, numb and content. But if you have any dignity, that question burns. The punishment is internal. There's no real price for failure anymore. You can start a business today, try a new path right now, and even if it goes wrong, so what? You won't catch the plague, you won't be executed, nothing will happen. So stop being afraid. It's better to fail honestly than to rot in mediocrity wondering what could have been. Everyone feels stress. Everyone feels anxiety. No one is floating through life happy and worry-free. Everyone's fighting invisible battles. So if we're all stressed anyway, why not be stressed while building something massive? You think that by not trying, you'll avoid pressure, but you don't. You're still stressed, just about smaller things. The bills, the broken car, watching other people live the life you wanted. You're anxious anyway. So why not be anxious about something worth it? You can either panic about losing millions or panic about being broke. You choose your battlefield. Happiness is an illusion. You'll always feel some level of worry, emptiness, and tension. That's human. But at least if you build an empire, the pain has purpose. Most people never push forward because they fear losing what little they have. They tell themselves they'll just stay where it's safe. But safety kills dreams. You fear success just as much as failure. You say you want it, but you're scared of the responsibility that comes with it. So you stay low, hoping for blessings while never earning them. That's not how it works. It's not about luck, talent, or education. It's about breaking your limits. I've seen people with less talent, less intelligence, and fewer resources climb higher simply because they moved, because they acted. You can either be jealous of them or wake up and ask yourself, what belief system is holding me back from progress? Progress is the point, not comfort. Not prestige, just evolution. To live long and make no progress is the ultimate failure. Move up, even if it's one level at a time. Don't watch other people's success like a movie. Don't sit there thinking that's cool. Ask yourself, how do I get there? How do I replicate that? How do I build something like that for myself? Look around you, the room you're in, the people near you, your possessions. Ask yourself honestly, am I satisfied, or have I betrayed what I could have been? You could have built everything by now. You could have saved your family from struggle. You could have given your parents more years of peace. And yet you chose comfort over greatness. You chose distraction over duty. That should disgust you. Why do you need disaster to wake up? Why must the world slap you in the face before you decide to move? You act only after pain, like a fool learning through fire instead of reason. I'm here trying to convince you to win, not to die, not to lose, to win. If you're watching this right now and you don't own the place you live in, if you don't have the car you want, the freedom you crave, get angry. Rage is fuel. Controlled anger is power. It's easy to get what you want if you truly commit, but most of you don't. You try one day, skip the next, then claim you gave your best. You didn't. You gave convenience, not commitment. The people who have everything didn't get lucky. They stayed obsessed. I never missed a day. I never rested. I never stopped. While you were relaxing, I was building. That's why you're behind. You think you're competing with people like me while taking weekends off? Ask yourself, if for the past 2 years you trained every day, avoided distractions, didn't waste time, didn't scroll TikTok, didn't skip the grind, what version of yourself would you be now? Imagine him, the body, the money, the confidence, the respect. That version of you is real and waiting. The only thing separating you from that man is your laziness. The universe gives everything to those who demand it through action. I've never seen a man give his all and fail. The ones who lose are the ones who quit. You're not too stupid. You're not too unlucky. You're just too lazy and arrogant to admit it. A man must live by what must be done. Because when you start living by what you feel, you become soft, predictable, and weak. Feelings are what keep men enslaved. You wake up tired, you skip the gym. You feel stressed, you scroll your phone. You feel lazy, you say you'll try tomorrow. And that's how mediocrity wins. Not by force, but by comfort. Discipline doesn't care about your feelings. Success doesn't care about your comfort. The world doesn't care about your excuses. You think someone's coming to save you? No one's coming. No one gives a damn if you rot. You could disappear tomorrow and the world would move on like nothing happened. That's reality. That's the truth you hide from because it hurts. But pain is your only teacher. Pain is the only voice that tells the truth. Everything soft and easy is a lie made to keep you average. Every time you pick comfort, you're signing a contract with mediocrity. You're saying, I'll trade my potential for peace. But peace is a lie. There's no peace in being broke, weak, irrelevant. There's only the silent misery of knowing you could have been more. That's why I wake up every day ready for war. Because life is war. You think you have problems now? Wait until you have a wife, kids, enemies, taxes, the government watching you, your haters plotting, your friends betraying. You can't run from it. The only choice you have is whether to fight or fold. You think the gym is hard? Wait till you face the world unarmed. That's why I say, suffer now or suffer forever. Every rep, every grind, every night you work while others sleep. That's a bulletproof layer you're building around your soul. Because one day when life hits you like a train, you'll thank the version of yourself who refused to quit when it was hard. Weak men collapse under pressure because they've never been tested. Strong men rise because pressure is all they know. You have to build yourself into someone unbreakable, someone who thrives in chaos, because chaos is coming whether you like it or not. The weak will drown, the strong will adapt. And when you walk through hell calmly, that's when the world realizes you're untouchable. Not because you're lucky, but because you're forged. You think you're stressed now? You're not stressed. You're bored. You're too comfortable to feel alive. You call it anxiety. It's your spirit begging for challenge. Men are supposed to fight. Men are supposed to conquer. You were born to build, destroy, and rebuild stronger. But the system neutered you. They told you to be nice, be kind, don't be too harsh, don't offend anyone. And now you're scared of your own strength. Scared to speak up. Scared to lead. You've been domesticated like a pet. Soft, obedient, harmless. They want you that way. Weak men are easy to control. They pay taxes, obey rules, never question authority, and die quietly. That's the modern slave. A man chained not by metal, but by fear. Fear of judgment, fear of failure, fear of standing out. You've been programmed to apologize for your masculinity, but the truth is, the world only respects the strong. Power isn't given, it's taken. Respect isn't earned by kindness, it's demanded through dominance. You want people to listen? Speak like you mean it. You want people to follow? Move like a king. There's no equality in nature. Lions don't ask permission from sheep. So stop asking permission from people who've achieved nothing. Stop letting losers tell you how to live. Stop letting weak men call you toxic because your strength reminds them of their cowardice. They hate you not because you're wrong, but because you're everything they wish they were. And when you finally embrace that, when you stop apologizing for being powerful, the world opens up like a battlefield ready for conquest. You have to understand, no one will hand you greatness. You must steal it. You must take it with aggression, persistence, and absolute self-belief. There's no magic, no luck, only work. Ruthless, boring, repetitive work. The type of work that kills doubt, burns excuses, and silences fear. Every man wants the throne, but few are willing to bleed for it. You want power? Earn it. You want respect? Take it. You want freedom? Pay for it in discipline. The gym, the grind, the sleepless nights, that's the tax you pay for becoming unstoppable. You'll never be respected until you respect yourself enough to suffer for your goals. Every day you waste, someone else is becoming the man you're supposed to be. And when you finally wake up, you'll realize he's living your life. This isn't about money. It's not about cars, women, or fame. It's about domination. Over yourself first, then the world. The man who conquers himself fears nothing, because the worst has already been defeated, his own weakness. Every morning you wake up, there are two versions of you staring back in the mirror, the one who wins and the one who waits. And the difference between them is a single decision: discipline. You think success is luck? Number. It's a ritual. It's the same pain, repeated until you stop flinching. You become dangerous when nothing phases you. You become powerful when your emotions no longer control you. You become a god when effort becomes your nature. Stop saying one day. You're running out of days. You're burning your potential for dopamine. You're drowning your dreams in comfort. Wake up. Every second you delay is a piece of your life slipping away, gone forever. The clock doesn't care. Time doesn't pause for procrastinators. You'll never feel ready. You'll never have perfect conditions. The secret is simple. Move anyway. Act now. Fail forward. Learn violently. Grow aggressively. You'll figure it out on the way. If you want to live like a king, you have to stop thinking like a peasant. Most people spend their lives crawling through existence like worms, terrified to offend, terrified to fail, terrified to even dream too big. They have been trained to stay invisible, to not cause trouble, to not take risks. That's why they'll die unknown. Nobody remembers the safe ones. The world only remembers the men who forced their names into history. And that doesn't happen through balance or comfort. It happens through obsession. Everyone wants to be great, but the moment the grind gets ugly, they fold. They call it burnout. They call it stress. They call it mental health. I call it weakness. The mind was built for war. You think you're depressed? You're not depressed. You're underused. You've been sitting in front of screens, jerking off your potential for dopamine hits, wasting your warrior instincts on scrolling and snacks. Your ancestors fought lions with sticks, and you cry over Wi-Fi speed. You live in the softest era in human history, yet you act like survival is torture. You're drowning in comfort, and comfort kills faster than hunger ever did. You say you want success, but you can't even control your own morning. You hit snooze, you check your phone, you scroll, you waste the most powerful hours of your day doing nothing. Then you wonder why your life doesn't move. You think success is complicated. It's not. It's repetition. It's monotony. It's doing the same brutal routine over and over until you become a machine. Every man wants the result, but few are willing to embrace the boredom that builds empires. You want to be rich, powerful, respected? Then be disciplined enough to do what most people won't. Everyone says they're trying their best. No, you're not. Trying your best means bleeding for it. Trying your best means being willing to lose everything except your ambition. You think greatness comes from balance? It doesn't. It comes from extremity. You must go all in until your life bends around your will. You must become obsessed with your own potential, to the point people call you insane, because mediocrity calls focus madness. Most men will never understand what it feels like to truly commit, to burn the bridges, to go all in with no safety net, to say, I will die before I quit. That's the kind of energy that bends reality. You cannot be half committed and expect full rewards. You can't walk into war with one foot in the exit. If you want to conquer, you have to remove retreat as an option. The world bends to those who act like they have no backup plan. That's why the rich get richer and the powerful get more power. Not because they're lucky, but because they burn their ships and attack. Meanwhile, you're still looking for motivation. You're still waiting for the right time. The right time is now. The right moment is the one you decide is right. You have to stop thinking of life as something happening to you. Life is something you dominate. You grab it by the throat and force it to obey. That's what masculinity is. Control. Not control over others first, but control over self. Your hunger, your habits, your urges. Every man is born with chaos inside him. The weak try to suppress it. The strong learn to harness it. You want power? Control your chaos. Channel it into purpose. You don't need to calm down. You need to aim your fire. You're not too angry. You're just too unfocused. Society tells you to relax, number. Stay aggressive. Stay hungry. Stay alert. The second you soften, the world will eat you alive. You think you want peace, but you're not built for peace. Peace is a lie. Every empire that ever existed was born in blood. You want to live like a conqueror? Then embrace the chaos. Learn to love the fight, because the fight never ends. It just evolves. The problems get bigger, the stakes get higher, but the reward gets greater. You can't escape struggle, so make struggle your playground. Make resistance your comfort zone. While others complain about pressure, you should crave it. Pressure is a privilege. It means you're in the arena. Only losers live without pressure, because nobody expects anything from them. You think confidence comes from affirmations, number? It comes from evidence. It comes from doing hard things daily. Every time you force yourself to move when your body screams stop, you build unshakable confidence, because you have proof that you're not a slave to weakness. That's what separates men from boys, the ability to command yourself. When you say, I will, your body moves. When you say, I must, your mind obeys. That's real freedom. Discipline is freedom. The man who can control himself controls the world. So stop waiting. Stop negotiating with comfort. You're not tired. You're unfulfilled. You're not lost. You're undisciplined. You're not unlucky. You're lazy. You don't need therapy. You need a mission. A purpose so big it burns everything useless out of your soul. The kind of mission that wakes you up before the alarm, that makes you too hungry to sleep. That's what gives men direction. That's what gives life meaning. The modern world killed purpose. It replaced it with distraction. But you can bring it back. You can decide right now to live like a man who refuses mediocrity. The world bows to those who act like gods. You want to know why you don't have what you want? Because you haven't earned it. The universe doesn't reward wishes. It rewards warriors. You think praying will save you? Number, work, will. Sweat, will. Consistency, will. The man who moves every day, even when no one watches, becomes unstoppable. You can't hide effort. The results will expose you. And the day you finally realize that, the day you stop lying to yourself, that's the day everything changes. Money isn't everything, but without it, you are nothing. You can preach morals and integrity all day, but no one listens to a broke man. Power respects power. The truth is, the modern world doesn't reward good intentions. It rewards results. You think people care about your kindness? They don't. They care about what you can provide, what you can build, what you can protect. And money is the measurement of that capability. Money is freedom. Money is control. Money is the ability to say no when everyone else is forced to say yes. If you don't control money, money controls you. And when money controls you, every decision you make is based on fear. Fear of bills, fear of losing your job, fear of losing the illusion of security that chains you. You cannot be free without financial dominance. Every king had gold. Every empire was funded by power. And in this world, the game hasn't changed. Only the weapons have. You either learn how to play the money game or you become a pawn in someone else's. You say money doesn't buy happiness, but that's a lie told by people who failed. Money buys options. Options buy time. Time buys freedom. Freedom is happiness. You can't meditate your way out of poverty. You can't manifest wealth without discipline. Meanwhile, the people who taught you that own everything. You think they meditate in poverty? They're laughing in their mansions while you quote, money isn't everything. Wake up. Money is not evil. It's a tool. It amplifies who you are. If you're a coward, it makes you a bigger coward. If you're a warrior, it makes you unstoppable. But if you stay broke, you'll never know what kind of man you could have become. And let's be clear, wealth is war. You're not going to attract it by thinking positive thoughts. You're going to take it by outworking and outsmarting every man around you. The modern world is digital warfare. Attention is currency. Speed is armor. Execution is your weapon. You can't be slow, emotional, or hesitant. You must be decisive, cold, calculated. Every second you hesitate, someone hungrier is taking your opportunity. The marketplace is a battlefield, and you're out here showing up with excuses while others show up with strategy. That's why they win and you don't. You can't build wealth without risk. You're too scared to lose. You want guarantees in a world that guarantees nothing. You want the reward of a lion with the heart of a sheep. That's not how it works. Every empire started with risk. Every entrepreneur gambled time, energy, and comfort. You don't win big by playing safe. You win big by betting on yourself with violence. Not physical violence, but spiritual violence. The energy of someone who refuses to lose. You move with confidence so undeniable that the universe starts bending around your conviction. That's how power works. And when you finally make money, don't get soft. The moment you get comfortable, you start dying. Comfort is the enemy even after success. You have to protect your empire like a wolf protects his den. The higher you rise, the more vultures will circle. People will envy, attack, lie, and plot. That's the tax of power. The weak crumble under it. The strong smile, light a cigar, and keep winning. You think stress ends when you're rich? No, it multiplies, but at least it's worth it. I'd rather be stressed counting millions than depressed counting bills. The poor man's problems are pointless. The rich man's problems are expensive. Both hurt, one just pays better. Power isn't about how much money you have, it's about how many people you can command. You want to know what respect feels like? Walk into a room where everyone shuts up when you speak. That's power. And it doesn't come from being nice or agreeable. It comes from results, confidence, and the aura of a man who wins. People follow winners because winning is magnetic. You don't need to convince anyone when your life itself is proof. Talk less, achieve more. Let your silence be your dominance. You're either a man who makes things happen or a man things happen to. The choice is yours. If you're broke, it's your fault. If you're stuck, it's your fault. If you're tired, it's your fault. And that's the beauty of it. Because if it's your fault, it's also your power. You can change everything, but only if you're willing to accept that no one's coming to rescue you. Stop waiting for a miracle. Be your own miracle. The world belongs to men who act like gods. The problem with most men today is that they think being calm means being weak. Being humble means being small. And being good means being ignored. They confuse submission for peace. That's why they're miserable. The truth is, every man has two sides, the beast and the servant. The world praises the servant because he's easy to manage, but it secretly bows to the beast. Everyone tells you to be nice, polite, agreeable, and then you wonder why no one respects you. Respect doesn't come from being good. It comes from being dangerous and choosing not to use it. You must be capable of violence, capable of destruction, capable of dominance, and still in control. That's power. Weakness pretending to be moral is worthless. Only strength can afford morality. If you can't destroy, your kindness means nothing. It's not virtue, it's fear. You're not nice, you're just scared of conflict. The world is full of cowards, pretending to be peaceful. But real peace only comes from knowing you can go to war and win. You want respect? Become dangerous. Not with your fists, but with your aura. Walk like you could ruin someone's world, even if you never will. Speak like your words carry consequences. Look people in the eye until they look away. Move like a man who fears nothing because he's fought everything inside himself. That's how kings move. Respect is energy. It's not given, it's felt. You can't fake it. You can't buy it. You have to become it. And that comes from suffering, from pushing past fear, from mastering your emotions while everyone else is enslaved by theirs. Modern men have been taught to be emotionally weak, to open up, to cry, to express their feelings every time life gets hard. That's not strength, that's indulgence. You think life cares about your emotions? The world keeps spinning while you cry. There's a difference between awareness and weakness. Understand your emotions, but never obey them. The man who controls his emotions controls everyone around him. You think women respect the guy who breaks down every time life hurts? Number. They respect the one who stays calm while everything burns. Control is seductive. Power is magnetic. You want to be irresistible? Be unshakable. And that control starts in silence. The strongest men talk less. They observe, they calculate, they act. The world is loud because it's full of insecure people trying to prove something. The man who truly knows his value doesn't need to speak. His presence is enough. When you enter a room, people should feel you before you say a word. That's dominance. That's why I always say, if you're loud all the time, no one listens when it matters. Learn to weaponize silence. Let it build tension. Let it make people uncomfortable. That's when you know you have presence. When your quiet makes others nervous. But presence alone isn't enough. You need control. If you can't control your urges, your habits, your environment, you're still a slave. The highest form of freedom is self-mastery. You can own cars, women, houses, followers, money, but if you can't control your mind, you're owned by all of them. You think the man with 10 women is free? Number. He's addicted. You think the billionaire who can't stop working is free? Number. He's trapped by his own hunger. Power is knowing when to stop, and still having the strength to continue if needed. Control isn't suppression, it's precision. It's being able to unleash chaos and then lock it back in the cage when you're done. Most of you can't even control your own thumbs. You scroll aimlessly, searching for purpose in pixels. You're addicted to distractions. You call it taking a break, but you've been on break your whole life. You're overstimulated, underfocused, and emotionally bankrupt. You can't even be alone with your own thoughts without reaching for your phone like it's a lifeline. That's how weak modern men have become. You think you're free, but your mind is rented out to the algorithm. Every scroll, every click, every useless video you watch, that's another piece of your focus stolen. You are not losing time, you are being harvested. Attention is currency, and you are bankrupt. Discipline is your only salvation. It's the only religion that still works. You can pray, manifest, dream, none of it matters if you don't move. You can't vibe your way to greatness. You must grind your way there. Every moment you waste is betrayal. Not to me, not to society, but to yourself. Every time you hit snooze, every time you skip the gym, every time you say, I'll do it later, you're murdering the man you could have been. You're killing your potential with comfort. And one day, you'll realize that the pain of discipline was nothing compared to the agony of regret. You need to become someone you can't escape. Your standards should haunt you. The mirror should make you uncomfortable until you've earned peace. You should be disgusted by mediocrity. That disgust is sacred. It's the last piece of your soul that hasn't been corrupted by comfort. Don't suppress it. Use it. Let it drive you like fire in your veins. Every time you want to quit, think about the men who died in wars, who starved, who built nations with their bare hands, and then look at yourself crying over rejection or fatigue. You are stronger than you act. You're just surrounded by weakness disguised as sensitivity. The system wants you weak. They want you obedient, docile, emotional, predictable. That's why they reward softness and shame aggression. Because aggression, when controlled, is unstoppable. You're not supposed to be nice. You're supposed to be disciplined, dangerous, and just. The world only functions when strong men hold it up. Without them, everything collapses. And guess what? That collapse has already started. Weak men have taken over. And look around. Everything's falling apart. The only way to save it is to become a man too solid to break. You want a purpose? There it is. Become a foundation again. Stand tall in a world of bent spines. Carry weight others can't. Be the man who can take pressure, not complain about it. Let the world pile on you and lift anyway. Because when chaos reigns, kings rise. And you were never meant to be anything less than a king. A king without a code is just a man with money. Strength means nothing if it isn't guided. You can't just lift, fight, grind, and think that's the end of the story. There has to be direction. There has to be law. Every empire falls when the men inside it forget why they started building. Discipline gives you power, but purpose gives you aim. And the highest purpose a man can have is to build something that outlives him. That's legacy. That's the only immortality left. You'll die one day. Every dollar, every car, every follower will fade. But the impact you made on the people who witnessed you, that's what echoes. The question is, when your name is mentioned, will men sit up straight or will they shrug? Legacy doesn't come from talking. It comes from living like your actions are being carved into stone. Every word, every move